Have you ever felt completely drained by a relationship that doesn't even have a name? Well, today we're diving deep into the neurobiology of the situationship. We're going to find out why that feeling of exhaustion isn't just in your head, it's a real biological trap.
Okay, picture this. You're out with that person you've been seeing for months. You know everything about them, their coffee order, their biggest fears, the whole 9 yards. And then a friend comes over and asks that one single dreaded question. Oh, is this your partner? And in that moment, everything just freezes.
And then the words just kind of fall out of your mouth. No, we're just chilling. You try to play it cool, right? You tell yourself you're avoiding drama. But then later that night, you're staring at your phone, the texts go unanswered, and this deep, gnawing anxiety starts to creep in. That feeling? Yeah, that's not just you being dramatic. It's your biology, firing on all cylinders.
So let's get one thing straight right now. This is not dating advice. We're not here for coaching. This is pure clinical neurobiology. We're going to put on our lab coats and diagnose exactly why having no label messes with your brain's essential chemistry, and why feeling so drained is actually a totally predictable physiological response.
So where does it all start? Well, it begins with how your brain deals with ambiguity. We're calling this the uncertainty glitch. And honestly, this glitch, it's the real villain of the story.
See, your brain evolved over millennia to be a prediction machine. That's its primary job. For our ancestors, survival meant being able to predict threats and find patterns in the chaos. So to your brain's ancient operating system, ambiguity isn't some cool, modern way to date. Nope, it's a danger signal. Your brain literally can't tell the difference between an unpredictable partner and a tiger hiding in the bushes.
And this slide, it just lays out the cost perfectly. In a labeled relationship, your brain has a clear roadmap. It knows the deal. This lets your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles executive function, let's call it your brain's chief of surgery, stay calm and collected. But a situationship, it gives you no roadmap at all. Your brain gets stuck in this endless loop of pattern seeking, which leads to massive cognitive overload. You think you're being chill, but really, you're just mentally exhausted.
Okay, so now let's look at how all that mental overload sparks actual chemical warfare inside your body. Because all that uncertainty, it basically turns your system into a non-stop cortisol factory.
In a stable, secure relationship, your brain is busy producing serotonin. You can think of serotonin as your mood armor. It's the neurochemical that gives you those feelings of safety, of calm, of security. It's what lets you relax and focus on other important things, like acing your exams or building your career.
But a situationship, it does the exact opposite. That constant uncertainty keeps your body in a state of high alert or hypervigilance, and that triggers cortisol, your body's main stress chemical. It's like having a fire alarm in your system that is just never, ever turned off.
And the long-term damage from this is huge. See, chronic cortisol actively blocks your serotonin production, which makes you way more likely to feel anxious or have emotional breakdowns. It also decreases your neuroplasticity. That's your brain's ability to learn and adapt. So it literally makes it harder for you to study and remember things. Oh, and it suppresses your immune system. Ever wonder why you always seem to get sick after a fight or a stressful week? Yeah, this is why.
So, and this is the most crucial takeaway here. If you're feeling overly emotional or just plain exhausted in a situationship, you are not being too sensitive. You are experiencing a real, predictable biological state. You are chemically drained by a lack of security. Period.
This all brings us to why labels are so important. They aren't about possession. They are actually a protective mechanism. They are your escape route from what we're going to call the lonely laboratory.
You know, a situationship feels like a lonely laboratory because you're constantly running these little experiments, right? If I don't text first, what happens? If I act distant, will they care? This quote just nails it. You're taking on all the responsibilities of a relationship, but you get none of the rights, like the right to ask for clarity or count on support.
And of course, the chemistry backs this all up. A label is basically a social contract. It signals to your brain that it's safe to switch its reward system. You move from chasing those addictive, unpredictable highs and lows of dopamine, which is all about the chase, to the deep peace and connection you get from oxytocin, the bonding hormone. You stop being addicted to the uncertainty, and you start feeling secure in the connection.
So, what do? How do you escape this trap and give your system the reboot it needs? Well, you need a clear, actionable plan. Let's call it the Clarity Protocol. Think of it as your prescription.
All right, here's your 3-step prescription. Step 1, the 90-day rule. You have to think of it like a clinical trial. After 3 months, the data is in. If there's still no clarity, the conclusion is obvious. They don't want a commitment with you. Step 2, the directness test. Just stop the mental gymnastics and ask the question directly. And step 3, watch their reaction very, very closely. If asking a simple question about commitment makes them defensive or dismissive, what some people call the ick, that's your final red flag. It's time to pack up your things and leave the laboratory.
As we start to wrap this up, I want you to remember something. You're a high achiever in literally every other part of your life. You deserve that exact same standard in your relationships. You deserve a 99+ percentile relationship, one that comes with a label, a clear roadmap, and a steady, healthy supply of serotonin.
And I will leave you with one final thought to chew on. You're out there working to operate at an absolutely elite level in your field. But if your own brain's chief of surgery, your prefrontal cortex, is constantly being hijacked by a maybe in your text messages, how can you possibly be expected to be at your best? Prioritizing clarity isn't just about dating. It's about protecting your single most valuable asset, your mind.